So we'll just get right into it. Welcome to Bitcoin and Beyond. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and let's just get right into it. Let's stop wasting any more time. So what is a Bitcoin? Here's a bunch of examples: Bitcoin, Ethereum, coins, tokens. I guess that's what people call them. I don't really notice people calling them coins or tokens too much. Everyone just calls it a cryptocurrency, not to be confused with like any other kind of currency. It's a currency. You can buy and sell and trade it as any other type of currency, as if it's like the US dollar or, just about anything. It's a legitimate form of currency. People that think of it exactly like a currency would be wrong to do so, because the whole reason that crypto is in front of it isn't because it's some space age online currency. It's its own separate thing. Some people might say, oh, it's more comparable to like a stock. It's like it's kind of like having a share in a company. Stocks go up and down, they fluctuate in value violently, and it does that. While most traditional world currencies don't do that. And while that's true, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies do fluctuate kind of like stocks. Thinking of them like stocks is also another bad way to view it. They're not like stocks, and they're not like traditional currencies. They are their own things. All right, and we're going to get into that. And there's not just Bitcoin. Bitcoin's an example of a cryptocurrency, which is the primary one that we're going to talk about today. There are multiple cryptocurrencies. There's hundreds of cryptocurrencies. There's a bunch of cryptocurrencies, some more popular than others. Bitcoin's obviously the big one. Ethereum's another one, really, really big. We're going to go through all of them. So what is it? Open source software, 2009. Didn't really take, it wasn't really popular until about 2010. So I'm sure it started in 2009. But 2010 is when it started. People actually would hear the word Bitcoin on the street. It wasn't as popular as it was today, but people like heard, they might have had conversations like, hey, you heard this thing called Bitcoin? Your friends probably looked at you funny, like, what? Bitcoin, what is this? They probably tried to convince you to buy some Bitcoin as like an investment. And you probably just look at them like, all right, dude, yeah, sure. And probably nobody paid attention to it. But think of it as, most of the time, Bitcoin is software. People probably already know you can mine Bitcoin. You acquire Bitcoin by mining it. And people started to do that in about 2010, just about 10 years ago. Started to get popular. People started mining Bitcoin. So they acquired Bitcoin. They saved up Bitcoin. They started buying and selling Bitcoin for money, for profit, for just as a hobby. All right. It's a decentralized form of electronic currency. Talk more on that in a bit. That's kind of the whole gimmick of Bitcoin, is that it is a decentralized electronic currency shared directly peer-to-peer. No intermediate. So if I sent someone a Bitcoin, there is no, I am directly sending them money. Think of it, it's almost like a wire transfer, but even more direct. There's no bank. I am literally, it's almost like handing someone cash, which we'll get more into in a bit later. It's pretty direct, since it's not backed by like a bank, and it's not backed by like a, here we go. Yeah, here we go. Perfect. Transactions are carried out directly between two parties. No need for a centralized institution or service. There's no banks involved. It's kind of like cash. Think of it like an electronic form of cash. That the value of which like fluctuates quite a bit. And we'll find out why in a second. Because the currency's decentralized, there's no single point of entry or storage like traditional financial institutions. That's true. Transaction costs, because there's no need for a middleman. Transaction costs are minimal since currency is exchanged directly between users. That is true as well. Bitcoin's usually, I'm sure, before I even get into it, yeah, I bet it's in the next slide. Okay, how do you get Bitcoin? You mine them, which it says solo. I guess that's true. Yeah, you can mine Bitcoin yourself. People think, what is mining Bitcoin? No, you're not taking a pickaxe and going to the nearest Bitcoin mine and spending 10 hours a day hacking away at rocks to get Bitcoin. That's not how that works. there is it's a computer software program that'll run in your computer. We'll get to why that is in a bit. You mine them pool. So rather than you using your own computer to mine Bitcoin, you have a network of people all working together to mine Bitcoin. And again, mine is in quotes here. And then you trade for them, like any other thing. Like if I wanted to buy gold or, you know, US dollar, you know, euros, whatever, I could just buy, or like, you know, stocks. I could just buy them up and then sell them and trade them as if it's like any other currency or like a stock. I could use it. You could just trade them like that. You could do that. So you can just buy them at face value. There's ways to go about doing that. Here we go. It gets more, yeah. So it has more information on this here. So you can use cryptocurrency mining rig to mine Bitcoins for yourself. There was a point in time when Bitcoin started coming out, about 2010. You could get a laptop and you could run a program to mine Bitcoin for you, leave it running, leave it plugged into the wall, just have it going for like, I mean, all year. You could have it going year round, just, you know, make sure the computer's not on fire from time to time, and like just have it mine Bitcoin for you. You get rewarded for having it run this program that's mining Bitcoin. You get Bitcoin, and its value is drastically increased since 2010. So if you just had a spare laptop mining Bitcoin in 2009, 2010, you'd probably have a decent chunk of change today. Today, you can't do that. We'll explain why later. Pool, so it's the same concept. You have machines mining Bitcoin, but you're doing it as a network of people, and you're all rewarded kind of, not equally. You get rewarded for the work that you do. If you mine more Bitcoin than somebody else with your setup on this network, you get rewarded significantly more than the person that hardly mines anything at all, but you're rewarded kind of together. It's more, you're mining in a pool. And then, yeah, trading them. We'd already gone over that. Is you just treat it like any other kind of investment. All right. Mining Bitcoin. This is where we're getting into the fun. Value of Bitcoins is generated by solving complex math equations. The reason for that, I'm sure it says immediately after that. Oh, here, perfect. Of course it does. A solution to an equation, also called a hash, generates a block. The block is added to the blockchain, creating a proof of work, which assigns the value of newly mined bits. What is this? What's the blockchain? Well, it's the reason that Bitcoin's as popular as it is. So the whole idea of Bitcoin is Bitcoin has this thing called the blockchain. It's kind of like a, I don't know if I'd call it a ledger. It's more like it's kind of like a receipt. It verifies transactions made between people with Bitcoin. And it's encrypted, and it's very, very, very complex to be able to figure out. And it's like shared between every single computer that's using Bitcoin and mining Bitcoin. And they're all working together to basically figure out these really complex math equations. And they only get more difficult over time. So probably in 2009, figuring out these math equations wasn't too hard, which is why you were able to use them on you could run this program that solves these equations using your computer on a laptop, and you'd get rewarded pretty decently. If you did that today, it wouldn't work too well. It's now gotten to the point where solving these complex math equations gets so complicated that a laptop's not, you'll still probably get rewarded Bitcoin, but you can run a laptop running Bitcoin mining software for a year, and you'll probably get 0.0000001 Bitcoin if you're lucky, and you have a really awesome laptop. So the machines have gotten significantly more complicated over time, as you'll soon find out. But yeah, so the idea is that they're all trying to add on to this blockchain, and it's more or less the whole gimmick as to why it's hard to. Before I even get into it, it's going to explain now. Oh, this is perfect. All right, so mining Bitcoin. We got 3 different examples of machines. So simple. Mining Bitcoins used to be pretty easy and could be accomplished using on a personal computer. It's actually funny. It says on a personal personal or a personal PC. PC stands for personal computer, so technically that's like saying ATM machine. But yeah, you could run it on a laptop. You could run it on the old E-Machines computer running Windows Vista that nobody uses anymore. You could run it on that and make some money on the side. Can't do that today. Now, probably at bare minimum, if you want to actually make money mining Bitcoin, you're going to have to look at the more complex option. Complex, the more people begin to mine, the equations become more complex. Graphics cards are strung together to create the processing power needed to mine these new equations. People are wondering why graphics cards. Graphics cards have really powerful processors that are actually really good at solving equations. The process of graphics, so like if you were running like a really cool video game with lots of lighting, the calculations needed to be able to perfectly like determine light rays and to be able to map 3D images is actually the exact kind of processor that's used to solve complex math equations, funny enough. So a couple of years ago when Bitcoin and cryptocurrency mining got really, really big, the price of graphics cards skyrocketed. There was like a entry-level graphics card to be able to play a video game on your computer probably cost about $200 in 2015. 2016, it started really taking off. People started, oh, I want to mine cryptocurrency. And so the $200 graphics card, now it's $600. Whoa, what happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened. The public realized, oh, I could just buy this $200 graphics card, put it in a computer, have it run 24/7 to mine Bitcoin, and you'd make money. You'd get your money that you invested in the $200 graphics card back in like a month. If you strung enough of these cards together, you'd actually be making a decent chunk of change, and the value goes up over time. You got more and more people working on it. You got more Bitcoin being mined. It was very profitable. That eventually, that soon died. It lasted a long time though, like over a year. Then very complex. These are, they're called ASIC. It's an acronym, miners. They're proprietary systems. Their whole purpose in life is just to mine Bitcoin, and that's it. So the only thing that these machines do is they mine Bitcoin. It's not a computer and a graphics card. This is a machine. The machine's sole purpose in life, the whole reason it was built and the whole way that it's programmed is to mine. It solves these math equations, it mines Bitcoins, and that's all it does for its whole life. It sucks in a bunch of power, and I should mention all these suck in a lot of power. Running this complex math equation, solving these math equations, adding to the blockchain, getting Bitcoin uses a tremendous amount of power. The reason that's important is, before we get into this, the reason that's important, and we'll find out later, is you might just think, oh, this is like free money. Well, it actually costs money to mine Bitcoin. People are like, how? It costs money to run my computer? Well, yeah, it costs electric bill. It's a lot of electricity. If you bought a bunch of computers, and this is what people do, if you get a bunch of computers and you get a bunch of graphics cards, and when I'm pointing behind me, I'm saying like if you get like a whole room, you rent out an office building, and this is what people have done and still do today. You could rent out an entire office building, line it with thousands of computers running thousands or tens of thousands of graphics cards, and just, sit there maintaining these computers, chugging away, solving complex math equations. That's going to use a lot of power. Also, the room is going to get very hot. You probably want some sort of air conditioning and ventilation system. Then it starts getting really complex. It's almost like you got a factory that's just cranking out Bitcoin. Actually doing that is actually illegal in several states and countries. They don't let you do that either because it's deemed as a fire hazard. Some of the countries just don't like cryptocurrency. They don't want you mining it. And there's a couple other reasons, but doing that's actually considered an illegal practice in some places. I don't think it's illegal here though. Owning Bitcoin. Users create accounts called wallets. Yeah, people ask, okay, so what is Bitcoin? I know it's this thing that I can mine now, and it uses complex math equations that I solve on my computer. But like, what is it? No, you don't solve a math equation. The mailman doesn't show up with an envelope and give you a coin. It's not a physical, currency. Unlike, like a US dollar, a quarter. it's not like, I mine and chug away and then someone hands me 1/4, one fourth of a penny and says, here's your Bitcoin. Here you go. No, no, no. It's stored in a wallet. It's a virtual wallet. There are wallet providers on the internet. I'm sure we have examples. Wallets are secure using passwords. All right, so look, think of it like an online, I don't want to say a bank because it's not a bank. The way banks operate is not how Bitcoin operates. It's just like a holder or an online storage place for your Bitcoin. So there's different sites you could use. Trying to think of one that's still around today. Do we have any examples? No, we don't. But yeah, so they've got some. I think there's one called CoinPass. There's all sorts of them. If you look up Bitcoin wallet, you Google Bitcoin wallet, they get all sorts of examples. Basically all they do is they ask you to make an account. You put in basic information. I mean, like your name and an email. On some of them, that's all you need. Okay, that's important. Remember that. All you really need, more or less, is your name and an email. Bam, here is your wallet ID. It's like a really long string of text of just numbers and letters. It'd be like, I don't know, 40, 50 characters long. And it's just like A4Q79. It's really, really long. That is your wallet. And just like a wallet in the real world, the only thing the wallet does is it tells you what kind of cryptocurrency you have. If you get 5 Bitcoin, that's stored in your wallet. If I wanted to send Bitcoin to someone else, I would need their wallet. I'd need the long string of characters, and I would send my Bitcoin from my wallet to someone else's wallet. And then transactions done just like that. I'm directly sending them money from my wallet to their wallet. It could be Bitcoin, it could be Ethereum, it could be pretty much any cryptocurrency. That's how cryptocurrency works. It's electronic currency. It's not like any other kind of currency, but that's how that works. Spending Bitcoin. Fun. This is going to be fun. Seller provides an address to the buyer. This is the address for the wallet. So if I wanted you to send me Bitcoin, I'd give you my wallet address. You would use that wallet address. Buyer enters the seller's address and the amount of payment to a transaction message. And the buyer would sign the transaction with a private key that only they know, hopefully, and then announces for the public a key for verification, which is where the security thing comes in, all right? Buyer broadcasts the transaction to all the Bitcoin network. This is the blockchain we're talking about, all right? It has to be verified by everybody. And you get rewarded for verifying the work of this long thing. So it's very secure. It's hard to fake. If you wanted to try to, if you want to try to fake a Bitcoin transaction, you're going to have a tough time doing that. It'd be like if I bought something at a gas station and they printed out 5 million receipts and handed them to every single person in the world. And then I try to go to someone else and say that, oh, I bought this thing that I didn't really buy. Well, 5 million people are going to call me out on that because they all have a receipt saying that that's not what happened. So it's easy to be able, this is all public. Everyone can see the transaction, which seems scary, but at the end of the day, it really isn't, because what do they know? Well, they probably know they have the transaction ID and they have the wallet address, and that's and of course the amount that was transferred. That's really it. And this is, again, the transaction itself it's very, very attached. It's secured. The only thing that's able to verify that is computers running specialized programs with usually specialized hardware. Competitors, Bitcoin alternatives. These are all other cryptocurrencies. So we got Namecoin, Dash, Feathercoin. They got Prime Coin. There's all sorts. You got Ethereum. There's all sorts of other cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin isn't the same one, and they all basically work the exact same way. Obviously, the big ones, Bitcoin, they all have different prices, and the prices are determined by a multitude of things. I'm hoping that, okay, so what's the catch? Oh, okay, cool. We can talk about it in here. What's the catch? We got instability, mining costs, coin versus tech, and pump and dump. Okay, we're not talking about all that. We'll talk about what determines the Bitcoin price, why people use it. I think I've already gone over pretty much why people use it. It's a pretty secure digital alternative currency method that people will use. Here we go. Bam, this was updated today. Or at least I think it was updated today. This was updated today. Yeah. So one Bitcoin as of today, or at least earlier today, was about $9,300. So it's significantly more than the maybe $100 it was worth 10 years ago. So yeah, the ship has sailed. If you wanted to invest early, it's worth a lot of money now. Litecoin, right? You want to invest in Litecoin, you could still do that today. Of course, it's not as popular as Bitcoin is, and there's not as many people using it. And with less people using it and less people generating new Litecoin, the likelihood of its value going up is low. But if you have reason to believe that Litecoin could, more and more people are going to start using it, invest now, because the more people that start using it, the more people trading and making transactions, the more Litecoin being generated, higher the value is going to go up. So that's something to think about. That's why Bitcoin is ridiculously high as it is. It sort of just like exploded 3 years ago. And literally just the price skyrocketed. And now it's like you could use Bitcoin pretty much anywhere. And people are like, what do you mean you can use it anywhere? Who accepts Bitcoin? You can't exactly just go to a gas station and then buy something with Bitcoin. But you could like sell your Bitcoin for like money on PayPal. That's how that works. You buy it the same way. So I mean, if you treat it like an investment, you could buy Bitcoin for $9,000 and sell it for $20,000, make 10 grand, sell it on PayPal, and then direct deposit that into your bank. You could do that. That's usually how people handle that. If you're generating Bitcoin, again, the Bitcoin gets immediately deposited into your wallet, your Bitcoin wallet, and you could sell it like any other kind of currency for US dollars. And then that goes into your PayPal, and then you direct deposit it into your bank account. And so you can make money off cryptocurrency. That's what people do. That's why people love it. People making direct Bitcoin to Bitcoin transactions, that's a little bit more uncommon, but something that people do. Ethereum, very popular. This is a really, really, really big one. It's actually this is the Bonnie and Clyde duo group we got here is Bitcoin and Ethereum. They were responsible for the great, computer hardware price gouging catastrophe of 2017. Ethereum's really, really, really easy to mine on AMD branded graphics cards. It actually really hurt them. Not too much, because I'm sure AMD was happy. They were, I went to the, a giant store that would sell hundreds of these AMD graphics cards, which were really good at gaming, but also really good at hashing Ethereum. So people were buying them to mine Ethereum in 2000. Yeah, you could even see the giant spike in 2018. That was what that was. So if you went out and tried to buy a graphics card, you couldn't do that in 2018. I was actually looking to buy one in 2018, so that was unlucky for me. That was pretty sad. But it's died down now. You notice it wasn't popular in 2016 at all. It wasn't that popular in 2017. Now it's like it's stabilized. It really exploded in 2018. It's pretty much stabilized. Bitcoin's done. I'd want to say Bitcoin's done the same thing, but it hasn't. No, it doesn't say. Bitcoin, I wish I had a graph. I should have had a graph for Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I want to say it's done the same thing, but it really didn't. It's a lot more violently fluctuating. I mean, you got a range here from like $100 to $1,400. Bitcoin's fluctuating tens of thousands of dollars every couple of months. It's pretty ridiculous. And that's part of the reason that everyone's really into Bitcoin is if you want to make a lot of money. I should say right now, if anyone's watching this for financial advice, this is for educational purposes. I'm just explaining what cryptocurrency is and how it's made and what it's used for. This isn't, I'm not here trying to give my advice on, I'm not telling you to bust out the 401k, throw in all your money in Bitcoin, hoping that it'll double or triple so you could buy a Rolls Royce. That's not what I'm trying. Don't do that, please. That's a terrible, terrible idea. And if I had a financial opinion on it, don't do that. That's probably a really bad idea. So don't ever do that. Even if it looks promising, don't. That's a terrible idea. Not that it's impossible to triple your money. It's actually it seems to fluctuate pretty ridiculously pretty often. So, but there's no guarantee when it's going to go up or down. And because it's not backed by a bank or anything, there's nothing regulating it. It could crash, it could die, it could literally just go away tomorrow. Bitcoin, Ethereum, all these cryptocurrencies could just stop existing the next day and you'd lose all your money. There's no guarantee that, that its existence isn't guaranteed, because everyone could stop using it. Its value could be nothing. Nobody has any reason to mine it anymore, and then it would just die. Everyone would stop using it, wouldn't be accepted anywhere. There'd be no reason to mine it. It would just kill itself. It's very capable of doing that. Has that happened yet? No, I'm sure it will, and it's going to be really funny when it does. The fun thing is, though, they say that there is no more Bitcoin to mine in the future. There is a cap to how much can be rewarded or handed out. I forget what the actual cap is, but I want to say that's not for like decades. This thing's able to be, Bitcoin's going to be able to be mined for decades. Same thing with Ethereum, I think. So in theory, if we ever reach that point, they would hold their value pretty significantly, and we wouldn't have to worry about that. But I don't know, if I had an opinion, I think it'll crash way before that. How much does it cost to mine? Yeah, like I said, it's not free to mine. You can't just like have it. Here you have an idea. My guess, people are looking at, wow, this is a lot of numbers. Right here, Orland Park Library, Orland Park is in Illinois, so it's saying $4,152. And I'm not saying if you turn on your computer, it's not going to cost you $4,000 just to boot it up and run a Bitcoin miner. My guess is this is on average how much it costs in electricity to mine one Bitcoin. And people think like, oh man, that's insane. What's one Bitcoin? Well, that's actually quite a bit. One Bitcoin is actually most people aren't going to buy one Bitcoin, and most people aren't going to mine an entire Bitcoin. They're probably going to have a computer that's responsible for figuring out the calculations for 1/1000th of a Bitcoin. And they'll be they're going to be rewarded, 1/1000th, 1/10,000th of a Bitcoin, which is a measly, you would think, insignificant reward. But at the end of the day, if one Bitcoin is worth $10,000, you kind of got to look at it and be like, oh, okay, maybe this is cost effective. Well, it might be, but if you live in Alaska, where it's $7,000 in electricity to cover the costs, if one Bitcoin's only worth $5,000, sure. If you have a fantastic, phenomenal rig of computers lined up to mine Bitcoin, and you're only mining, if it costs more money in electricity to mine than you're getting back in Bitcoin, you're losing money. Some people did take that hit. Forever ago, they were mining Bitcoin. They were not getting that much money back. Bitcoin wasn't worth anything. So this is important to think about. You're like, oh, why would I be an idiot? Why would I mine Bitcoin if I'm not getting money? If it costs money to mine Bitcoin and I'm gaining back less money than it costs to mine it, why would I do that? Well, the millionaires that are laughing at you with their Lamborghinis from 2010 beg to, they have a differing opinion, because they were mining Bitcoin, probably making no money off of it at all whatsoever. And I should also mention it was easier for them to mine Bitcoin at the time too. The blockchain wasn't as big as it was. It was easier. The math equations that the computer had to do were much simpler, but that, they were probably similarly relative to the complexity now compared to the value of the Bitcoin now. My point is, they were simple 10 years ago to mine Bitcoin, and they were probably being rewarded very little amounts of money. The only consistency here is the cost of electricity. 10 years ago, depending on the state you live in, probably Alaska as a good example, if you were mining Bitcoin in 2010 in Alaska, you were probably losing money. You were probably being drained of money. But you were probably making a lot of Bitcoin. Bitcoin wasn't worth a lot of money, sure. But if you held on to that Bitcoin, maybe you lost several hundred or even several $1,000s in 2010, but you'd be worth millions of dollars today. And it's like, okay, but how many people does this apply to? A lot of people. You know, you can look it up. You see all these, you hear stories about it all the time. Oh, I had all my spare computers mining Ethereum and mining Bitcoin in 2010, 2011. I just had it set up so they'd run 24/7. If they shut down, they'd automatically restart, and they'd just pile into my wallet. And they didn't forget about them, but like they just never sold it because they saw it as like as a venture where if the value ever does go up, I'll be rich. So once they broke even, they started making money. They didn't sell their, Bitcoin for a couple $100s. They were like, oh, I made like 100 or, 100 Bitcoin mining for the past 2 years. I'm going to just keep it in my wallet and hope it explodes. Well, it did. Those people made a lot of money. Some of them were really young. There's a story, I wish I had a link to it. There was a story about like a 16-year-old that did it. 3 years later, he sold it all. He's worth like $3 or $4 million. There's a couple of teenagers that did that. And so, I mean, that must be nice. Retire at like 18 years old. Congratulations, you're an adult. You get to retire now. Must be pretty nice, So were they losing money for those couples of years? Yeah, I'm sure they were. But I'm sure they do not care about the $1,000 they lost mining Bitcoin between 2009 and 2011. I'm sure they made off very well. Electricity cost to mine 1 Bitcoin worldwide. This is a slide that I just added. It's really cool. So United States is saying it's an average of $4,758. Here we go. Most expensive and cheapest. So Venezuela, $531. Cost of electricity is really low. I don't know how easy it is to get power in Venezuela. But I do know costs of electricity are low in the some places in Africa and some places in South America, as well as some places in the Caribbean. And it's like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? Go down there and mine Bitcoin? Like what? Am I supposed to just set up a Bitcoin mining facility in India or China? Yes. You could do a Google search for Bitcoin mines in China or in South America, and you will see people that work in a building like I described, hallways of just computers running 24/7, just mining Bitcoin. Why do they do this? Well, because like in Venezuela, it costs nothing to mine Bitcoin. The cost of electricity is like nothing. So, and they're probably getting like sacrificial computers and graphics cards that they just literally burn out and have explode until they die to mine Bitcoin. They just take it out and slap in a new graphics card, and then they just run that until it dies. They have it slaving away. It's kind of like slave labor, but for a computer. They work it until it dies. The computer dies, the graphics cards die, and they're like, oh, whatever. We'll swap it out with another computer, and then, bam. You can look them up. It's pretty impressive, and they have people that work in them. You got like technical people that just operate and handle. Make sure all the machines are constantly mining Bitcoin. It's actually kind of cool to look at. What is a valuable part of cryptocurrency? Guess I'll talk about that. Valuable part of cryptocurrency. Well, its value is determined by multiple things. Mostly it's how popular it is. Obviously, the more people that use it and the more widely accepted it is and the more secure and the more people that are connected to like the Bitcoin network, the higher the value is going to be. Similarly, its value can go down for the opposite reason, which is concerning and is the reason I would not invest in it. I wouldn't pour your life savings into it because, again, its value is not guaranteed. It could explode like it did 2-3 years ago, and then it could just instantly go down, like a tank. And then, if you invested really high, or even when it's really low, it could go down lower. Its price isn't guaranteed. So I definitely am not on the train of, oh, you should invest all your money in Bitcoin. You shouldn't do that. And again, it's maybe not a good venture to go off and mine it either. It might cost more money to mine it than it does to, then you'd get back rewarded for mining it. I should also mention it's not even worth it today anyway, because now it's so complicated. The computer programs that mine Bitcoin are so complex now. If you wanted to, oh, I have a spare computer. This guy at the library that told me that I could just have computers mining Bitcoin. I should use my spare computer to mine Bitcoin. Don't do that. And the reason I'm just going to explicitly tell you to not do that is that ship has sailed. You can't do that anymore. Now it's literally so complicated, you probably won't even receive anything at all. You will not receive anything at all for doing that. You're going to get 0.000001 Bitcoins, and you'll probably make 3 cents or 5 cents over the course of a month. And I guarantee you the cost of electricity is going to be significantly higher than, 3 cents for having your computer run for a month. If you have a computer that's dedicated for gaming with a really nice graphics card, you might make a little bit more money because the graphics card, can, yeah. These ASIC miners, the little miners that I said their only purpose in life is to buy Bitcoin, you could buy one of those. Those things will make you money. What's the catch on that? Well, you have to buy them. The entry cost to buy probably the miner that I would buy, a cheap ASIC miner, maybe $3,000 to $5,000. So they're not cheap. And so they'll make you money, but now you're $3,000 in the hole. I bought this miner that's fantastic at mining Bitcoin. You need to mine almost like an entire Bitcoin in order to just break even on the, cost to buy the miner. And it still costs money and electricity to run the thing. And they use tremendous amounts of energy, more power than any computer does. These miners they just literally suck up all the power, which is part of the reason that they're banned. You can't have these miners in places. If the power companies will just straight up not let it. If you buy these miners specifically for Bitcoin, you string them together and have a bunch, that goes against power policies or something for the local municipality or the government. They'll just say you're not able to do this. You need you are drawing so much power, you need a license to be able to do that, and you probably don't have a license to be able to draw that much power. I don't know. It's different for just about every single place. You could look it up, but people have gotten in trouble for it. People gotten arrested. People gone to prison for it. It uses actually a ridiculous amount of power. So even if you can afford the power, some places won't even let you do it. If you're only buying one ASIC miner, for $3,000, obviously having that in your house isn't going to, you're not going to have the FBI knocking on your door saying you're using too much power. They're not even the people that would do that anyway. Most likely, at the very worst, you'll get your power company will be like, hey, you're using a lot of power. More or less, they'll just be more than happy to bill you for the extra power you're using. Manipulating the market. Cryptocurrencies are incredibly susceptible to pump and dump investing. So like with the stock market, a lot less. So let's see. A small group of people invest a large amount of money into an unstable coin, which causes value to rise, attracting other investors, and then it inflates, and then you immediately sell off before it just dies. That's true. It's not like that hasn't happened before. Not on a level of not quite the level of that we've seen on the stock market, where they'll falsely, and they'll just make up stuff to make their, the market value of their publicly traded company skyrocket, and then sell all their shares to make millions of dollars, which, by the way, is against the law. You can't do that. It's susceptible to the same type of, you can pump and dump with cryptocurrency. It hasn't happened a whole lot. But again, we've seen, you can, I wish I had the graph. I don't have the graph right now. I had to scramble to get this ready as it is right now, but it's definitely a thing that can happen. Here we go. This is cool. Use of crypto for illicit activities. This is fun. So there's another group of people that really like cryptocurrency, and that's cyber criminals. All right. So cyber criminals use cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin because of its decentralized nature, making it easier to use for illegal transactions. That's true. There's good and bad for using cryptocurrency if you're a cyber criminal. The main reason they would use, criminals typically tend to use cash. Why do they use cash? Well, because they're not going to use a credit card unless it's a stolen credit card. Criminals, they're not going to make an illegal transaction on their own credit card or with a card in general. That could be traced back to them. Cryptocurrency, it's not impossible to trace back to a person, but it's pretty hard to. If you wanted to spoof or fake a transaction because of the blockchain, because of all the self-verification, the verification with everything on the Bitcoin network, that's near impossible to do. But if you wanted to take someone else's money, or if you were forcing someone to give you money, giving them your Bitcoin wallet address and telling them to give you Bitcoin is a good way to get that done. If I went to someone and I said, I was blackmailing them or something, and it's like, I'll do this unless you send me money. Here's my routing number and my bank account number. If I did that, write the check to my full legal name, and if I did that, the FBI would show up on my door and they'd be like, you tried to steal money from someone and you gave them your full name, your routing number, and your bank account number, which traces it back to you. Well, they don't have to do that for Bitcoin. You don't need their name. You don't need their routing number. No, you just need their wallet number. What's the wallet address? That's all they need. The wallet address. It's not that it can't be traced back to them. It's unlikely. These wallets, I said that you go online, you can make an account. There's multiple different wallet providers. I think one that I was talking about was Coinbase, I swear, yeah. So the reason I say it's not impossible, these wallet providers do have your information. They have your name and your email address. So if I was stealing money from people and having them send me money to my wallet provider can be told, hey, this person is using their wallet for illegal activity, and then they can investigate me. But then again, what information do they have? They have my name and my email. Okay, well, I can give them a fake name and email. So, how many John Smiths have Bitcoin wallets? Probably quite a bit. I use a throwaway email, and they just give me a wallet. So cyber criminals will use it just because it's untraceable. But it's not like there have been instances where cyber criminals have used Bitcoin and they've done something illegal with Bitcoin, and it has been traced back to them. I will say that's very unlikely. If they're using Bitcoin for something illegal, they're probably never going to get caught. That's why they do it. It's the same reason for using cash. It's almost untraceable, but I won't say it is untraceable. So cyber criminals are known to attack wallet service providers. Ooh, yeah. And cryptocurrency trading exchanges. This is the more scary thing. You shouldn't be too concerned about, and it's not like I don't see this. Usually what happens is you'll get an email, usually a fake email, like a phishing scam, a Nigerian print scam, where you got someone that says, oh, if you give us your social security number and your name, you'll inherit $10 million. just give us your social security number, your name. We'll give you $10 million. But I have, in order to prove the legitimacy of you receiving the inheritance of $10 million, you must send $2,500 worth of Bitcoin to this address. And they have their Bitcoin wallet. And then you'll look up, they'll probably say immediately afterward, if you don't know how to do it, go to this website, buy $2,000 worth of Bitcoin, and then send it to this address. And you do that and you never hear from them again because they just stole your money. And of course, there's no way to report them. It's not like that's it. You're done. That's a concerning thing. That's just like phishing. That's a phishing scam. You shouldn't be concerned about that. You should be concerned about the second bullet point, which is the cyber criminals attacking wallet service providers. Well, what does that mean? That means I'm an expert level hacker, part of a group of hackers, and rather than try to get you to give my Bitcoin wallet money, I attack the company that has a bunch of passwords of other people's Bitcoin wallets, steal those, and now I have your Bitcoin wallet. That's bad. That'd be like if I stole your bank account information. But instead of that, I'm stealing Bitcoin wallets. The reason that's not terribly bad is it's happened before to really big name wallet service providers. 99.9% of these wallet accounts, they don't have any money at all. They got like no Bitcoin. If they have Bitcoin, they get 0.000001 Bitcoins. These hackers will try to do that anyway. Why? They only need one wallet. All right. They know what they're looking for. They'll steal a whole bunch of accounts, and if they get the one of the dude who has 100 Bitcoin, they're gonna make off with $1 million. They're gonna get a pretty big payday. They're gonna be very happy. So they'll do that. Usually they're pretty secure. There have been coin wallet providers that aren't super secure. I don't know why you would go with them. And then they get hacked, and then you lose all your money. Big name people, so not celebrities, but like some really big tech people have used some pretty big name wallet service providers in the past, and they have lost a lot of money because hackers will hack the wallet service provider, and they'll have access to their Bitcoin wallet. They'll transfer it to their wallet. They'll sell the Bitcoin, and they'll make lots of money. So that's happened. Twitter account hack. 1 week ago, something happens that I'm sure most people, at the very least, they probably saw it in the news. So here we got Elon Musk and Joe Biden. Actually, a lot of Twitter accounts. So on Twitter, there was a tweet that went out that said, here we go, read Elon Musk's. I'm feeling generous because of COVID-19. I'll double any BTC, that's the designation for Bitcoin, I'll double any Bitcoin payment sent to my Bitcoin address for the next hour. Good luck and stay safe out there. And then you see that really long, string of numbers and letters. That's the Bitcoin wallet address. And look, Joe Biden has a tweet as well. I am giving back to the community. All Bitcoin sent to the address below will be sent back, doubled. If you send $1,000, I'll send back $2,000. Only doing this for 30 minutes. And there's the long string as well. And then he says, enjoy. Well, two things to notice. The first thing you'll notice is that I blurred out the middle portion of these tweets, or at least for the Bitcoin address. Well, that's because these are fake email, or not fake emails, they're fake tweets. When I say they're fake tweets, it's not that Joe Biden and Elon Musk didn't really tweet these. Their actual Twitter accounts did send these actual tweets. Of course, this wasn't actually Elon Musk or Joe Biden. Somebody hacked Elon Musk and Joe Biden's accounts. They didn't just hack Elon Musk and Joe Biden. They hacked Bill Gates, hacked Barack Obama, Apple, Uber, Warren Buffett, bunch of other people. Bunch of like a list of like 50 plus celebrities and companies all got hacked. And they all tweeted out the same thing. I'll double money. You got to send me $1,000 in Bitcoin to this address. And that's the address. I blurred it out because it's obviously fake. And I don't want to have a public video released with the actual address. I don't want anyone sending them money. That'd be really dumb. But what you will notice, so that's a good example of what a wallet address looks like. The other thing you'll notice is that that's the same address. You notice it ends in 0WLH. Wow, isn't that interesting? Elon Musk and Joe Biden have the same wallet. Isn't that interesting? It's like they're sharing a bank account. Isn't that cute? No, they obviously aren't. Bill Gates, Barack Obama, Apple, Uber, they don't all have. And if you look at the tweets from Bill Gates and Apple and Warren Buffett, they all have the same tweet, same address. So it was this all happened about 1 week ago. Literally, I think exactly 1 week. We got July 15th. So July 15th was like a week ago. I think last Tuesday. So July 15th, 2020. All these accounts at the same time put out the same exact tweet. And you know what happened? Here we go. Wallet providers stopped services temporarily until Twitter resolved the problem. So they deleted all the tweets. Twitter probably rushed to damage control to make sure everyone stopped sending money to these people. But the hacker did make off with more than $100,000, which means that at least 100 people with 1 Bitcoin, at least 100 people sent them $1,000. So, I mean, that's unfortunate. But it's actually a lot worse than that. Way more than 100 people gave them $1,000. Way more. The reason they didn't make off with more than that is these wallet providers, the companies that have the cryptocurrency wallets, they saw the transactions going down since they host the service and have, all the transactions done using their wallet service. They just shut off their service for the day. They're like, oh, or more likely, Twitter probably called the wallet providers and were like, hey, this is really bad. All these big name people, we got Barack Obama tweeting to send this guy money, but that's not really Barack Obama saying that. And so the wallet providers just shut down for the day. So if he tried to send the money, it wouldn't go through because the wallet service provider just shut down their service. So you would attempt to send a Bitcoin address, a wallet address money, and it wouldn't do anything. So I think the wallet providers, at least the number as of today was after they halted the wallet service, an additional like $700,000 was halted from being transferred to that wallet address. So if they didn't stop as soon as they did, this guy, or more likely a group of people, probably would have made off with over $1 million, potentially. It could have been much worse. It's actually pretty bad that this happened in general, though. I would think Twitter would have better security methods to make sure. I mean, how can they hack Elon Musk, they have Bill Gates and Uber and Apple all at the same time? It was clearly like planned. This was a very scheduled, that's pretty impressive, but I mean, that's very bad. So I thought that was something that's cool. Investing in cryptocurrency. So, I mean, you could invest kind of like a stock. It's not a stock, all right? Its value isn't determined by how good your company is, how many shareholders you have, maximum volume of shares that you're able to, no, it's not determined by that. It's determined by, we've already gone over that, but so look, here's an example of a wallet. So here is a phone. Somebody has their phone open with their, and it says their wallets. They have $121.68 worth of, I don't know because it doesn't say, it would be under accounts and we're on the prices tab, but they have $121 worth of cryptocurrency, and out of all the cryptocurrency they have, and it says that they're following Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin. So they could literally just use this app to buy and trade Bitcoin. So if somebody's selling Bitcoin, they have an address where they have Bitcoin. They're willing to sell it. If you're willing to buy it, you use the provider to buy Bitcoin, add it to your wallet. They'll link your wallets together. You'll get, you'll send a certificate saying that you want to buy Bitcoin from this address and you want to buy this much. It'll be signed off. The transaction will go through and it'll get verified by everybody. That's how that works. And then let's say you do that to buy Bitcoin. Bam, it goes through. It's verified by everybody. You now have Bitcoin. You have $200 worth of Bitcoin, let's say. So you own 0.00 however many Bitcoin. Congratulations. Well, if Bitcoin doubles in a month, from like $10,000 to $20,000, which it might, and it has done before in that short of an amount of time, you'll make $200, and then you can sell it. And just like that, I'm sure somebody will probably buy it, maybe. And yeah, which is another thing you have to think about too, is it's like, oh, well, I could just sell it. Well, if it spikes really high, I think everyone's going to want to sell it. So the likelihood that someone else is going to want to buy it when the price is really, really high is a little lower. So you might have some trouble selling it for the price that you might want to. That's another thing you might want to keep in mind if you do want to invest in cryptocurrency. The other thing is I keep using Bitcoin. It could be any kind of coin. I really don't know what to tell you if you're using like Litecoin. I don't know what to tell you if you're using like there's a bunch of different ones. But like we don't know what the trends are for some of these cryptocurrencies. Ethereum can take over Bitcoin and be more popular than Bitcoin in a year, and it could be worth more money too. I don't know. Bitcoin and Ethereum could die tomorrow. So none of this is guaranteed. It's a very dodgy investment, in my opinion. But you can look it up. You can go on like Google, and you can look that stuff up. That's all I was really going to go on about Bitcoin. It's been about an hour, even though I started about 10 to 12 minutes late. I've gone about 10 to 12 minutes over, but I've gone on about for an hour on Bitcoin. Hope this was at least gives some people a basic understanding of what Bitcoin is. So people understand what it is. They don't think it's like a physical. It's not a physical currency like a U.S. dollar or something. It is a digital currency. It's a legitimate currency too. I do want to mention that it's a legitimate form of currency. I wish I had a list. I'll try to find a list of places that accept on my phone real quick. Look at this. I'm gonna go places that accept Bitcoin. Some places will just straight up accept Bitcoin. All right. So if you wanna, you don't have to go through the effort of selling it, converting it into PayPal, and then depositing it into your bank. You can just sell straight up Bitcoin. We got a couple of places. We got places that accept Bitcoin. Oh man, that's really big actually. Wow. Wow, it's a very, very, very big list on my phone. I don't know if you can see that. We got bigfishgames.com, bitcoin.travel, I would hope so, bloomberg.com, gift, Microsoft. Microsoft accepts Bitcoin. You want to buy a Microsoft Surface Pro or an Xbox? You can do it in Bitcoin. Reddit accepts Bitcoin. PayPal accepts Bitcoin. Newegg accepts Bitcoin. Subway accepts Bitcoin. Shopify accepts Bitcoin. Wikipedia accepts Bitcoin. Wikipedia accepts everything. They want your money. WordPress accepts Bitcoin. You got all these places that accept. Intuit accepts Bitcoin. Expedia.com accepts Bitcoin. Domino's Pizza accepts Bitcoin. Dish Network accepts Bitcoin. There's a lot of places. There's actually a decent amount of places that accept Bitcoin. So, that helps too. And that's like a direct Bitcoin trend. These places are places that will just straight up take your Bitcoin. So it's a legitimate form of currency. It's recognized by, Microsoft's a $1 trillion corporation. So they accept Bitcoin. I don't know what to tell you. That it's clearly like a high-end thing. And look at the price of Bitcoin, like 10 grand. There's a lot of people that have Bitcoin. There's a lot of people mining it. Enough people mining it that they'll open up a shop. They'll open up a warehouse in Venezuela and just mine it for years with a bunch of people that they hire dirt cheap to just mine Bitcoin. It's that big of a thing, and they'll just retire off of doing that. So it's definitely something to think about. If you weren't armed with the knowledge of what Bitcoin was and how it operated before, I hope that you are now. If you have any questions, I will be more than happy to answer any of them as soon as I get the chat open. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I'd be more than happy to answer. And yeah, we have upcoming programs on the 28th. I believe that's later. That's next week. We have the intro to selling on eBay. That's pretty cool. I would definitely go to that if you're not familiar with how eBay works. That's actually a pretty cool one. I've used eBay quite a bit. I will not be teaching that class, but someone else here will be. That's a good one. If you got a bunch of spare stuff that you know you're never going to use, that you know is worth a decent amount, eBay makes it pretty easy for you to be able to sell it. If you don't know how to do that, or you're just interested in like, you know, how eBay works, definitely go to that class. That's one that could actually make you money. Like participating or watching this event, watching this about Bitcoin, that's probably not going to make you any money. Arming you with knowledge of what Bitcoin is, it's probably not going to make you any money at all. And if you invest in Bitcoin, you're probably going to lose money. That's my disclaimer. Intro to selling on eBay, that could actually make you money. So go to that class. If you want to know how to make money, go to Intro to Selling on eBay. Don't listen to anything I have to say. Then we have a two-part class. We have interacting with the internet. We got interacting with the internet privacy and interacting with the internet security. And then we have our social media marketing basics. So, can I sell my Bitcoin on eBay? Probably. Yeah. So, yeah, you could sell your Bitcoin on eBay, probably. There's a lot of stuff that I see on eBay. A lot of people are selling services on eBay where they'll put in information. For example, I see a lot of people putting digital currency that they can buy and sell on eBay. I don't know if they're allowed to do that. I don't know if eBay allows that. I know eBay and PayPal are partnered and that PayPal accepts Bitcoin. So if you mean like, can I use Bitcoin on eBay? You definitely can, because eBay uses PayPal and PayPal accepts Bitcoin. So with that correlation there, I'm willing to say yes. As for buying it on eBay, if someone's just straight up selling Bitcoin on eBay, they're probably charging you money for them to try to send Bitcoin wallet to wallet. I know people do that. I don't know if they're allowed to, but I've seen that quite a bit. I see people doing that with everything. I see people doing that with trying to sell like, you know, gift cards and sorts of like gift receipt codes and stuff, and they'll sell that. That seems to me, that seems dodgy. If you saw someone selling Bitcoin on eBay, they're willing to sell one whole Bitcoin for like $100 or $200. That's fake, and you're gonna lose your money. I do know eBay protects those transactions most of the time. It will tell you if it's a projected transaction. If you contact eBay support and you say, oh, I never got my Bitcoin, you'll get your money back and eBay will fix that problem. But I know PayPal accepts Bitcoin. You can make transactions with Bitcoin on eBay through PayPal, I believe. But if you want to buy stuff, if you want to buy Bitcoin on eBay, I'm not sure about that. I would do that through a wallet provider or some sort of cryptocurrency provider. So I don't know if there's any other questions, I'd be more than happy to ask. So give it about 2 more minutes or such. But yeah, so. Bitcoin's becoming more and more popular still. People still use it to this day. So, can I purchase product on eBay with Bitcoins? I am 99% sure that you can. 99% sure that you can purchase products on eBay with Bitcoins. The only reason that I'm 99% sure is because I know I'm 99% sure you can. Yes, I don't know for a fact. I'm 99% sure you can, because you're able to select with what currency you're buying stuff on eBay, and PayPal will do the calculation in and of itself. So if I wanted to buy something for $10 on PayPal plus shipping, or including shipping, and I wanted to buy it with Mexican pesos, I can do that and it'll automatically change how I'm doing that. And then I can use PayPal in eBay as my payment method, and then PayPal will simply ask me, okay, what are you paying with it? I know because I have Bitcoin and I have PayPal and I've bought stuff on eBay. And when I buy stuff On eBay, it asks me what payment method do you want. By default, it defaults to my credit card, but I could also take it directly out of my bank account. And I believe there's an option where I could take it out of my Bitcoin wallet. And so if you have Bitcoin on your PayPal, I believe you just use PayPal as a, of course, then now it's no longer like wallet to wallet. Now you are actually introducing a third party into making the transaction method. Now you have PayPal involved. So it's a little more secure as well, but at the same time, how are you going to get your money back? You probably aren't. I'm not sure how that goes out though. I don't know if I don't know if PayPal takes your money, sells it, then uses that money to make the transaction go through. I'm not sure how that works out, but I do know that it's possible. I don't know the technical specifics as to how that transaction goes through. I just know that for a fact, you are 99.9% sure, yeah, you can make a transaction on eBay with Bitcoin. At least if you're using PayPal, because I swear I've gone to buy something and it asks default payment method, credit card, and then my bank account, which I could use, so I could just buy something directly with my bank account. And then I think there is the third option, which was using my wallet. But I've never done it though, so I actually might try to do that just to find out what happens. So yeah. So any other questions at all? I'll answer them. Got about another minute or so. Can you purchase a car with Bitcoins? I don't see why not. You just got to find someone that's willing to sell a car with Bitcoin. If you got a seller that's willing to take Bitcoins, then yeah, absolutely. If I was selling a car, I think I'd accept Bitcoin. I probably would if the transaction goes through and I see, I'm trying to sell I was trying to sell my 2007, Mercedes AMG wagon for 10 grand. And I'm like, all right, 10 grand, I won't negotiate on the price. Give me $10,000. And like, oh, I'll give you a Bitcoin. I'd be like, you're going to give me a whole Bitcoin for my car? And they're like, yeah. And I give them my wallet information. We exchange. If I get the Bitcoin and I see that I got the Bitcoin and it goes through and it gets verified by everyone and bam, I have a Bitcoin added to my wallet, I'll give them the title. I'll do the paperwork. That car is theirs. That's, in my opinion, that's just as good as that's just as good as them coming to me with cash. I'd rather them do that than, try to trade me, another car. I would imagine there's a couple places that would be fine with you buying a car with Bitcoin. I almost want to claim you could buy a car with Bitcoin from CarMax. I don't know if that's true. I want to say that you can. I want to say people have done that. But yeah, people have made all sorts of large transactions with Bitcoin. How can you turn Bitcoin to cash after you receive it as a payment? Well, after the transaction actually goes through and it's been verified and you have it in your wallet, some wallet providers offer the service to be able to convert it or to be able to sell it, and then you get the money from selling it, usually through PayPal. There's a couple other places that do it differently. There's some places that give you the option to sell it, and then they'll deposit the money right into your bank. I don't know of many places that do that. I've never dealt with places that have done that. Every single wallet provider that I've had, I've gotten the Bitcoin. Any Bitcoin that I've received, I've attained into my wallet. I've sold the coin, and then I had the option to convert the money that I have in my wallet sent to me through PayPal. And usually the provider will charge you money, and it is what it is. it's usually not too much money. I mean, eBay does the same thing. You want to buy and sell stuff on eBay, they're a business at the end of the day. What, you think they're just a platform to, so eBay charges you money when you sell stuff. So if you sell something for $60, you're probably losing a percentage of that $60 to eBay. These wallet, providers, they'll be more than happy to charge you for using their service. So they'll also make money, which at the end of the day, if I was getting 10 grand, oh, okay, this wallet provider wants a couple $100, that's fine. And so, yeah, I hope that answers your question. You can definitely can turn Bitcoin to cash, but that's how I do it. I know places do it a little differently. I guess that would depend on your wallet provider. Yep. Well, that's about all the time we have for today. I hope everybody's been armed with the information that they wanted to learn about Bitcoin and beyond. Again, I definitely check out one of the upcoming classes and programs that we have. They will also be on Zoom. You can get all the information for these classes at the website for the Orland Park Public Library. Just go to www.orlandparklibrary.org. If you go to our programs list, you go to, at least for our classes, you go to technology. It'll have all the dates and times for every single one of our programs. If you click on them, it will give you the link that you will need, as well as the code to be able to get in. And you can just click on it, plug in the code, and you will be, assuming you're at the right time and we're not 10 minutes late ever again in the future, you'll be right there watching the program. I would definitely recommend checking out all 4 of the upcoming programs. And until next time, goodbye, and thank you for watching and listening.